The inauguration ceremony of the Ranaviru Divinaguma was held in Battaramula today under the patronage of Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa and Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The aim of this program is to empower war heroes and their family members to come up in life. Tomorrow, the expenditure heads of the Ministry of Defence will be taken up in Parliament. Most of those in the opposition who insulted the war heroes and disturbed the war operation are doing the same today as well. I think tomorrow they will do the same and bring up an allegation as to why so much money has been allocated to the Ministry of Defence. I would like to remind you once again that it is because of the commitment of the war heroes that the people can enjoy the benefits of the economy, that your children can go to school and receive education. It is because of that you can go to work without any fear.
2012 witnessed a number of issues in the power sector. Power generation at the Lakwijaya power plant halted. A technical problem shuts down a turbine at the Vimala Surendra power plant. Power cuts enforced with the hydro reservoirs running dry in the recent past. The dry season is approaching once again. Shouldn't the power generation mix be closely monitored before another crisis arises?
General Secretary of the United National Party, Tissa Attanayake, spoke on the topic of media freedom in Parliament yesterday. Now, in response, Minister Navin Dissanayake issued a challenge to the General Secretary to practice true media freedom within his own party.
The media should act in a manner that makes it the fourth pillar that strengthens democracy in this country. This is not the case today, and we are saddened by it. The media is engaged in partisan reporting and mudslinging targeting individuals. They are attempting to make this their right. I see this as tipping the balance of media neutrality and misusing their privileges. According to the Index on Media Freedom, Sri Lanka is placed 163rd out of 179 countries. When it comes to media freedom and the conduct of the media, we are barely above Somalia.
Mr. Tissa Attanayake, Member of Parliament and General Secretary of the United National Party, mentioned day before yesterday in Parliament that there is no media freedom in this country. Actually, I was very surprised to hear this comment because only last Sunday, the leadership of the United National Party barred the Sirasa Media Network. So while other media outlets and media companies and media and television companies were allowed to go and cover this event, specifically the Sirasa Network and the Maubima paper was barred from covering this event because probably the leadership felt that these two institutions are not going to give a pro-leadership twist on this event. So therefore, I don't think people in glass houses can throw stones. The United National Party leadership has not been able to practice this concept of media freedom fully in its party. And I know that last Sunday's events in the convention, when Sirasa and the MTV media network was banned from entering, was a gross violation of their rights as a media organization. So once again, I would urge Mr. Attanayake not to make these silly remarks in Parliament.
Tissa Attanayake speaks of media freedom in Parliament. However, he has forgotten that the UNP convention was held in a backdrop where a strict media ban was enforced. Not only the media, several prominent party activists were subjected to this ban. Not only that, Tissa Attanayake was able to count 4,000 votes in just 15 minutes. This is an incredible feat. The main task of destroying the opposition has been given to Tissa Attanayake. It is because of his work that Ranil Wickremesinghe has destroyed this party and dragged it down to such a level. The opposition leader has no issues now. He has consolidated his power for 6 years with a big victory. Although he could not win the presidential election, I believe that he has set a new record as an incumbent leader to have won with the biggest majority. This is the only election Ranil Wickremesinghe won in so many years.
Welcome back to the news. In more local news, yet another News First workshop was held at St. John's College in Nugegoda.
Professor Sunilaria Ratna, a past pupil of college who participated in the workshop as a guest of honour, and the News First team were warmly welcomed at the school. News First explained to the students as the many ways of using modern media through various practical activities. News First also gave the students an understanding of new media concepts and technology.
I'm sure you will be able to receive valuable knowledge through the senior journalist of the Sirasa Media Network. Since this is my school, I am thankful to Sirasa Media Network for dedicating their time for us. Sirasa is capable of making a revolutionary change in the media field by presenting new ideas to society. It is good that our children receive this experience through such media institution.
A token of appreciation was presented to the News First team by St. John's College.
A special event was held in Colombo yesterday to commemorate International Volunteer Day. The event was organized by the United Nations Volunteers together with the United Nations Communications Group.
An exhibition of art focusing on a sustainable approach to the future was held at the Disaster Management Center yesterday. Minister of Social Services Felix Pereira was the guest of honor at the occasion. UN Resident Coordinator Subine Nandi was also present at the event. 1,700 participants took part in the watercolor and poster competition, and winners were presented awards, followed by a performance by the volunteers. MTV Sports was the media sponsor of the event.
In business news, the Treasury has provided 370 million rupees to the Ministry of Agriculture to provide seed paddy free of charge to farmers whose cultivations were destroyed by the drought during the Yalla season. During this program, 291,657 bushels of seed paddy are to be distributed amongst farmers in 6 districts.
The government decided to distribute seed paddy free of charge in order to strengthen the economy of the farmers whose cultivations were destroyed by the drought during the Yalla season and to ensure food security. Accordingly, the Treasury has provided 370 million rupees for this program, which is being coordinated by the Ministry of Agriculture and the district secretaries. Under the program, seed paddy will be distributed to farmers in 6 districts, namely Kurunegala, Putlam, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Matale and Vaunia districts. Plans have been made to cultivate 58,319 hectares with an expected harvest of 202,435 metric tons of paddy.
Let's now take a look at Action TV.
Action TV revealed yesterday that plans are being drawn up to remove traditional varieties of seeds stored at the Plant Genetic Resource Centre in Gannorua from the country. This letter, titled Seed Deposit Agreement between Sri Lanka and Korea, notes that a decision was reached on this agreement during a meeting held in this regard on the 9th of October under the auspices of the Minister of Agriculture. According to the letter, officials attached to the Ministry of Agriculture as well as the Department of Agriculture had been present at the said meeting. A Korean delegation is also reported to have attended the meeting. Issuing a letter to the Deputy Director of the Plant Genetic Resource Centre, the Director of the Horticulture Research and Development Institute of the Department of Agriculture noted that a memorandum of understanding between Sri Lanka and Korea on exchanging gene plasms was due to be signed in mid-December. He added that this decision was reached at the meeting held on the 9th of October. A copy of the MOU signed between Korea and Myanmar had also been attached to this letter sent to the Deputy Director of the Plant Genetic Resource Centre. The purpose of attaching this MOU to the letter was to prompt the Plant Genetic Resource Centre to study the MOU and formulate the proposed MOU between Sri Lanka and Korea. The implications that such an MOU should be looked into. However, prior to doing this, one should look into this letter which laid the foundation for the proposed MOU. The Plant Genetic Resource Centre comes under the direct purview of the Director in charge of the Seed Certifying Service. A problematic situation arises if the director in charge of the Plant Genetic Resource Centre, who is supposed to sign off on serious decisions such as exchanging genetic material, is unaware of such a move. The notes written on the letter, which was issued to the Deputy Director of the Plant Genetic Resource Centre, bypassing the Director of the Centre, highlights this problematic issue and goes to show that the head of the centre is unaware of such a move. It is around 2 years ago that the necessary background was created for the director of the Horticulture Research and Development Institute to intervene in such serious tasks, such as issuing a letter on the exchanging of genetic materials. When Korea came forward to assist in the further development of genetic resources, the then Director General of Agriculture decided to hand over the formulation of the project proposals to the Horticulture Research and Development Institute instead of the Plant Genetic Resource Center. However, the Plant Genetic Resource Center in Gannoru rose to fame around the world and was accepted internationally due to a MOU signed with Japan in 1988 and their continued assistance both technologically and financially.